Welcome, everyone. We're entering a world not so distant from this one, where the boundaries between flesh and machine blur into obscurity, and neon-lit dreams collide with steel-clad nightmares. Welcome to the electrifying realm of Cyborg. This is a Cyborg actual play campaign using the Cyborg OSR rules published by Free League Publishing. I am DG, the Game Master, and I'm ready to guide you punks, you gutter trash, through this capitalist nightmare that will grind your souls down to a fine powder and scatter it to the wind. Welcome back, punks, to the neon-soaked shithole that is Psy. Tonight, the shadows stir with whispers of opportunity, the chance to make a name for yourselves, and the underbelly of the city beckons. In the heart of the slums, where desperation and despair reign supreme, your first job awaits: to retrieve a hacker's dead drop for your client, Ermac Ransom, a hard-boiled, substance-abusing oracle/freelance investigator. Success will bring you hard-earned creds and a reputation with which to launch your mercenary careers. Failure will bring you death and torment and my everlasting contempt. By the way, I've just spoken to my bookie and I've got bets on the four of you pushing up daisies by the end of tonight. Let's get into it. You've spent the day preparing for the job, and now you're assembling for your briefing at Patton's Surplus, just north of the Melt, right in the bustling epicenter of the ports. It's 6 p.m, or as Patton insists on calling it, 1600 hours!
Well, friend, I hate to be the one to correct you, but that'd be 1800 hours.
1800 hours. Calibrations in my RED must be off, soldier! They reinstated daylight savings here inside. I've not yet managed to reset my settings! And so you are assembled in the back room, beyond the shop front of Patton's Surplus, the meeting room where he assembles his mercenaries, deals in information, and organizes the jobs. Not really much of a meeting room. It's the stock room behind his shop. The floor space is taken up with piles of crates, cardboard boxes, old military antiques, and you're all meeting under the shadow of a huge 90 millimeter tank cannon hanging up on the roof as decoration. The floorboards beneath your feet vibrate violently as Patton's tank treads carry him out of the cramped little adjoining office into the room to face you all. He takes stock of everyone present, and then he shouts, "All right, soldiers! Form up!" He turns to Frank with a smile on his face and he says, "That means stand in a line, young man!" And he turns to PU and he says, "And you not too close to anyone else, soldier! Don't want you stinking up the meeting room!"
He's sort of like kicked back in one of the cardboard boxes, and he's halfway through lighting a cigarette from his new install on his thumb when he looks up at Patton. "Well, I didn't do anything yet.
"You'll light this cigar for me," says Patton, reaching into the pocket of his bulky military trench coat and pulling out it looks like a real cigar. It's not at all like the cigarettes that PU smokes that are like 2% tobacco, 30% old newspapers, 20% street grime wrapped in a moldy tortilla. This is an honest-to-goodness cigar. Saved it from my soldiering days, Patton
Frank
says.
offers to take the cigar and just reach across the room to hand it to you for lighting, so that General Patton doesn't have to enter the smell.
Much obliged, Private, says Patton as he hands you the cigar to hand.
Yeah, no problem, Kix. I got you. And he'll start lighting the end of the cigar. He'll take a couple drags off the end of it just to start it off. Oh yeah. And he passes it back to Patton. He doesn't exhale.
Patton, taking the cigar, forgets his own strength. And have you ever put a cigar into a press and handed it back to Patton?
Yeah, Patton just...
There you go, General.
Patton looks at the flat strip of cigar paper with a little flame at one end and all of the tobacco squeezed out the back, and he just frowns, shakes his head, and he says, I'd save that from my soldiering days, was gonna smoke it up as celebration of a job well done, but... He crushes it between his fingers, butts.
You can put it in a book and keep it as a memory now.
Let's just hope it ain't an omen of things to come. I see you're all present and accounted for. Let's begin the briefing, soldiers. At the end of the line, Charlie is standing there, scratching his dog behind the ears, and Rusty just tilts his head, looks at Patton, and says, Pant, pant, pant. You'll have time for walkie soon, boy, says Patton. So, your client, Ermac Ransom, has requested the services of a bunch of good men. Feel good men, as it were, and I told him, I got a few good men and they can handle the truth.
Well, that and we can knock heads, but, whatever works.
So your mission is as follows: an excursion behind enemy lines, soldiers. You're gonna head to Barnyard Fields, and there you'll find the Nold Cafe. It's a bodega and cyber cafe owned by Ermac's contact, the hacker Solitaire. He looks over at Azure and he says, name ring any bells to you?
Yep, we've crossed paths a couple times.
Not very up on his OPSEC, as it were. Since he's gone missing and all.
Nothing new there.
Ermac suspects the cafe's being taken over by scorpions, and Solitaire's bit the bullet. Audie's ticket, as it were. You're gonna head to the Nold Cafe, get inside, find the dead drop left behind by Solitaire, and bring it to Ermac. Now, Ermac will be waiting for you at a nightclub on the edge of the ports called Tech Noir. Once you've located the dead drop in the cyber cafe, you're to head straight there, make the exchange, and it's a job well done. And in exchange, I've been authorized to disperse 500 creds off each of your debts and 100 each in your pockets to spend on anything you like, in addition to the advance you received last night. Any questions, soldiers?
Are there any bonuses involved for doing anything fancy smashy about it?
Well, Ermac didn't leave any particular mission parameters, but I suppose if you get in and out with causing a minimum of bloodshed, he'll be obliged to throw in a bonus for professionalism. It certainly helps me in the reputation of mine and yours that you can get the job done with a minimum of fuss. Let's say if you can get in and out, avoiding bloodshed, avoiding cocking up the whole thing, I'll throw in an extra 50 creds for each of you from my own pocket.
Professional is my middle name, baby, he says while picking his nose.
I was thinking that just pretty much meant that there were no bonuses.
Yeah.
Hey, I agree with both of you. I'm not expecting to disperse any bonuses, not with shit for brains, literally, here, but I've been proven wrong in the past. He peers down at the little crumpled cigar in his hands, rubs his thumb over the wreckage of it, and then he frowns and he says, well, that's your briefing. Dismissed, soldiers! He salutes you, and the floor once again begins to violently vibrate as his tank treads carry him out of the meeting room, back into the shop front. Evidently there's customers waiting. As soon as the door opens, you hear him shout, "Ah! I am the 45, are we? A classic!" And then the door slams shut, leaving you alone in the meeting room / stock room to prepare for the task ahead.
Alrighty, easy peasy. Get in, get out. No trouble, I've done break-ins before, and I've only been caught a handful of times.
If Solitaire has any goodies left lying around that I could get my hands on.
Sure, I'd like you to go ahead and just roll me a knowledge check. And if you've got technology, you can add your proficiency to that.
If I do. Well, that's not a D20, that's a 12. 21.
21.
Nice.
So, you know that Solitaire was not really the greatest hacker in the world. He was serviceable, but he's what you would call a script kiddie. He downloads some scripts off the net, runs them without really understanding what they can do. He's good at searching for things, cobbling bits of information together from sources that other people have fed him. What he's mainly famous for in your circles is as a purveyor of jailbroken tech. The Node Cafe, that bodega he operates out of, it's a front for his little side hustle of selling cracked apps, jailbroken cyberware, cyberdeck parts and the like, and assuming the Scorpions haven't cleared it out, and you very much doubt the Scorpions would even know the value of a lot of this stuff, his stash is probably still sitting there ready for the taking.
Have to make sure we can find that. It'll be useful.
So he's got a bunch of junk lying around. We can probably scrap it for a few creds, right?
Some of it might actually be useful for future endeavors.
Listen, pretty much the only tech that I need to get by is this right here. And he holds up his smart gun. This is
I could
all I
use it.
need to get between here and there. Well, and Axie, of course.
It's impossible to tell if Charlie...
You folk,
Go ahead, Frank.
you folk tell me what you want carried. I'll carry whatever you need.
Well,
Well,
I
we
mean,
have a lot to carry, says Charlie, and it's impossible to tell underneath the CRT TV that he wears as a helmet whether he's smiling or thoughtful. He just peers down at Rusty and says, if he sold old tech, then there's probably gonna be a lot of things we could get our hands on and cobble together. Isn't that
Yeah.
right, Rusty? Rusty just looks up at his master and says, "Bark, bark."
Still looking to get some upgrades?
He's always looking for some party treats, says Charlie, and he reaches down, scratches the dog behind the ears. The dog, smiling, lets out another big bark. So,
the way I see it, we should probably
try to scout it out a little bit, get an idea for what the hell the scorpions are doing there. Once we know what's going on, we slip in. Maybe, Chrome Dome, you knock out the lights. I knock out anyone inside. We get the box, we get out. Easy. It couldn't be simpler, What could go wrong?
Can you see in the dark?
No. But I know my way around the shadows. I'm pretty good with that.
And he flicks on the lighter.
See? I can see.
You could see in the dark, can't you, boy? Says Charlie. Rusty just
Mhm.
nods, wagging his little stubby tail.
Can we organize one of them garbage dumpsters before we go in? Cause we're bound to meet some of them scorpion fellas. I'm thinking we might want a place to put them.
Well, if we can...
And we got a dumpster already set up. We can just put them and lay them in there, and everything will be fine.
Is there any chance I can find some sort of map layout of the place before we head over?
Yeah. The node in Patton's stockroom has access to most of the usual citywide services. It's very easy for you to piggyback on this connection and gain access to the logistics network, the CCTV cameras that monitor the streets, track the traffic, and provide information on most of the buildings. However, it looks like Solitaire's gone to some lengths to make the information concerning his hideout a bit harder to obtain. He knows what his fellow hackers are capable of, and he's somehow made sure that his little slums bodega is listed among the city's heritage spots, meaning it's got a couple layers of security around it. I'd like you to go ahead and make me a knowledge technology roll to see if you can break through.
And that's less good than last roll.
Don't forget your glitches.
What can glitch do? We can reroll.
You can reroll.
Reroll. You can reset. You can reduce the DR by 4. You can turn a critical fail into a normal fail. Or you can reduce the damage you've taken from a source by the
Do I
roll
know what
of
the DR is likely to be already?
It'll be 12 at the moment.
It'll be 12. Okay.
Oh, and Britt
Well,
joins us. Hi, Britt.
Hey,
Well,
Brent.
then if I want to use the glitch, it would probably be better to just use the glitch to lower the DR by 4.
Yeah.
which
So
would
what did you
then
roll?
chuck it- I rolled 10.
10, yeah. That'll lower it. That'll make it acceptable. It's serviceable security, but it's nothing special. It's the security that the city civil services office employs, which is very easy to break through. You suspect that Solitaire wasn't willing to beef it up with his own security, or maybe he didn't know how, but soon you're able to
Actually
access...
tried, it just wasn't actually attached.
Yeah. Without much trouble, you're able to access information about the Node Cafe, and on everyone's RED, a blueprint of the establishment flashes up, showing you the layout of the facility. In addition, little windows off to the right and left show presumably live feeds from the CCTV cameras out on the streets in front of the establishment, and you can tell from the feeds that the front entrance of the cafe is shuttered. A big metal roller shutter has been pulled over the entrance door. There don't appear to be any windows big enough to make entry. There is a second entrance according to the blueprint, but another camera feed shows a little courtyard in the back, currently occupied by a group of gangoons, scorpions emblazoned on their jackets, shooting the shit arm wrestling with each other and playing cyber cards over a trash can. Obvious they've been assigned as sentries to make sure none of Solitaire's contacts show up.
Oi, Chromie, can you see maybe an entrance or a vent or something over by the shitters?
Who's looking at the feeds, and they're showing, I assume, Azure's beaming them live to your RCDs.
So we can all see it.
So I would like you, PU, to go ahead and make me a presence check. You can add thievery, because you have that. I think that would apply here.
Yeah, because he's like breaking in, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's presence +1 +2 thievery.
Yep.
That's a 14 total.
14 total. Indeed. You ask Azure to enhance, and the camera zooms in, revealing a rust and grime encrusted vent attached to the northernmost toilet. It's big enough that you think you might be able to crawl through, but it would be a tight squeeze. It'd be unlikely that Frank would be able to get through, but the rest of you could probably get through without much trouble.
And did you say there were any inside the cyber cafe that we had feeds on?
Unfortunately, there are no cameras providing a feed on the inside of the cafe.
Gotcha.
You can only see the front and see the shutters pulled over the entrance, and the courtyard in the back where Gangoons are standing guard over the doorway to the storage room.
Got you. But it's a freestanding building, is it?
Freestanding building. It's on the street on its own. There's a little side street running around. There's a little side street running along the right and the left. Looks like from the feeds, there's a laundromat to the left and a street food court on the right.
You said
you can't really see
that
them
we could
very
see
well.
was the vent we could see was sort of from that courtyard as well.
Yeah, right here. Attached to the northernmost toilet. It's possible you could sneak around the right side of the building and avoid being seen by the Gangoons if you were to go that way. The Gangoons, according to the feed anyway, don't seem to be very vigilant guards. They're roughhousing, clearly not paying attention to their surroundings. One of them's absent-mindedly kicking a crushed can along the asphalt.
How many did you say there were?
On the feed, it looks like there's 4 of them.
Gotcha.
There could
Okay.
be more that are
Avoid
visible.
bloodshed.
There could be more just off outside of the camera's field of vision, but looks like there's at least 4.
Ugly fuckers, aren't they?
No comment.
It's doable. It's doable. I've seen worse. I mean, corpos have better security and shit, but dicey. I could probably slip in through the vent up the north, get through, and then crack something for you guys down the front. We get Frank and everybody in there.
That does rely on there being no one inside getting in the way.
Yeah, no way to tell if anyone's inside, or indeed what's inside at all.
Zor, do you have control of the lights? A fuse, perhaps?
Quite
Do something?
easy for you to get it'd be quite easy for you to get control of them. Probably not from here, but when you're in proximity to the building, it'd be quite easy to piggyback on its connection to the utilities grid. And you also have your app that would just cause, various devices to spontaneously explode, possibly severing its
Noisily.
connection entirely. Noisily, but, the option's
Might-
there.
Hold off on that for now.
What do you all think if I come in here and I just walk through the wall? That's gonna surprise everybody. And then you guys can all sneak in from wherever you want, because they'll be going over to find out what's going on with me.
Yeah, but Frank, you're probably gonna have to break a couple skulls to do that. and I need those 50 creds because there are people a lot bigger than me looking for them.
Well, if somebody comes looking for you, I'll take care of them.
So just to catch Brit up on what's happening, we've just had the briefing for your first job. You have to break into a cyber cafe in the slums and retrieve a data drop left by Solitaire, the hacker. And it's obvious from Azure hacking into the camera feeds that the cafe's been taken over by gang goons, and we're just currently discussing what your plans are for getting in, finding what you need, and getting out to safety. And when you have the dead drop, you're supposed to meet Ermac Ransom at a nightclub called Tech Noir and hand it over.
Okay. That's cool. Is this working, by the way?
It is,
yeah.
indeed,
Yeah.
indeed.
And I think Dale also mentioned that your dog has night vision.
It
Quite
does.
interesting.
It occurs to you, Charlie, that Rusty has night vision, and he's also equipped with an array of multi-tools and sensors. If there are any locked doors or things that need to be picked, anything that could be removed carefully without making noise, Rusty could probably help. You peer down and smile at him, and he just looks up at you, opens his mouth, revealing rows of razor-sharp metal teeth, and what passes for his tongue, a rusty spring, bounces up and down as he says, "Pant, pant, walkies,
Boy.
I love
walkies,
this
walkies."
adorable dog.
Sure, it's a dog. I thought it was a raccoon, honestly.
So,
Raccoon dog.
He peers over at PU, bares his razor-sharp teeth, and says, "Growl."
Yeah, I thought my teeth were bad.
What do we think our chances
Yeah.
of getting in the front are?
Well, if you could roll up that shutter that's over the front entrance, it looks like you'd be able to get in without much trouble. Though I will say, to you, Azure, being that you're a hacker yourself, you can't see this on the feed, but you suspect once you roll that shutter up, there'd probably be a motion detector or something attached to the door.
That's what I would do.
You're not sure whether the Scorpions would have disabled it when they came in or not. It might still be operating, and it might alert the Scorpions or whoever's inside that unwanted intruders are here.
are the scorpions smart?
And the
They are
Scorpions,
gangoons.
they are
They are
gang
PU
goons.
level smart.
Yeah, they're not the smartest. These ones that have been assigned to watching the back entrance, approaching that task with about as far away from the security that job would require as you can imagine.
Can always send the dog in.
Yeah, Rusty could make Rusty could make a distraction. He opens his mouth and lets out a solid bark, bark, whimper.
I mean,
Very heavy.
if the pooch can see in the dark, and if I can get the pooch inside, maybe you could cut the lights, Azure, and then we'd be sweet. Maybe the pooch leads
do
me
something.
around.
I don't hate it.
Charlie, could the dog do it?
Yeah, the dog could do it.
What do you think, big guy?
Dog.
What does Frank think of the plan?
I was trying to think of what his answer would be, and I think he just sort of points to the storage or to the manager's office wall and says, "I think that wall right there is real thin. I think I could go through that like it was made out of tissue paper."
Tell
We
you
could
what,
avoid
big guy.
breaking down walls right now, just for a bit.
Tell you what. If I get in trouble inside, I'll
Then we
send
can
you
break down the wall.
I'll send you a message, and you can smack the wall. How's that sound?
I just want to make a contribution.
don't you worry, big guy. You're doing great.
And so,
Charlie, I have a question. Is there any way I can hack the video feed of Rusty? That could be handy.
Charlie, you would know. You're not sure how you feel about this, but you know it would be possible. You're not much of a hacker. You cobble things together, build things, but hacking, that's beyond you, and you haven't put anything in Rusty's brain that would kick Azure out if she were to try. Up to you if you want to tell her that, though.
I don't think Rusty would like that. You want to ask him for permission.
Rusty just looks at Azure and bares his teeth, letting out a growl, indicating he most certainly would not like Azure riding shotgun in his brain.
Hey, buddy, I won't do that for you.
But it's a possibility. Something you could easily do if you had no other option.
It then does leave the question, if we send in Rusty in the dark, how much control do we have over what happens then?
I have full control over Rusty.
Charlie pretty much... Charlie can't see through Rusty's eyes, but
Yeah, I
Charlie
guess how much
pretty much
knowledge then do we also
knows...
have of what's going on?
Well, if I go in with the dog guides me, and it doesn't exactly have opposable thumbs, you know, so I'm still good for something there.
Very true. And so, with the first seeds of a plan formulating in your heads, you decide it's time to get to the task at hand. Have a look at what you could see when you turn up, see if there are any more things you could think of, but for now, it seems like you've got a pretty solid means of entry. What happens when you get in, though? Well, got no way of figuring that shit out until you're there. So, we skip forward a few minutes later, and as you sit in the stolen taxi, the neon lights of the port... Yep, go ahead, Frank.
When we all go out, and the cat's, Sudsy Malone, because that's what Frank calls Axie, there are a whole bunch of boxes on it.
Frank's purchases that he made before arriving tonight.
Yes. Fella who comes and chats at me whenever I come by, he was explaining that when you get paid, you buy equipment for yourself and your team so that you can do what you got to do. And I didn't know what that would be, so I just went shopping and I got to eat some stuff that I thought might be useful.
Frank pries open the boxes and begins to parcel out his gifts. And what did you purchase, Frank?
Well, I got the General a boot scrape.
And that's already gone, it seems. It looks like Patton found that one. Although he didn't register any pleasure or any annoyance to Frank. You expect he'll probably have more to say about it when you return from your job. But for everyone else...
For Charlie, he got a pooper scooper. Unfortunately, the little baggies that attach to it, you can't make them attach. They don't fit. They're the ones that come in the box, but the little baggies on the pooper scooper is, when you're taking your dog out for a walk, I thought you might want to be able, clean up.
Totally real pooper scooper for a totally real dog that makes totally real messes.
And of course, there's the fuzzy dice for Sudsy Malone.
Oh, hell yeah, these are sweet!
The pink fluffy dice dangle in your hands, and Frank hands you a little plastic bottle to go along with them. There's a desiccated label on it reading air freshener, but it looks like it was printed about a century ago, and the bottle is completely empty, ravaged by time.
Yeah, I think this is gonna go straight up on the mantle, Frank. Thank you.
And to Azure, it is a CD with some of my favorite music on it. And it's a mint condition autographed Rick Astley CD.
Zeus
Holy
stares
shit.
at it for a moment.
Real life Rickroll.
Kind of in shock, and then XD appears on her face before being replaced by a really low resolution version of Never Gonna Give You Up dance animation.
Rick Astley dancing, but it's only 2 frames that shift from one to the other every half second. As Frank hands the pooper scooper over to Charlie, Rusty cocks up his back leg and violently expels a puddle of pitch black oil on the tire of one of the taxi's tires.
See, I told the Ripperdoc it's normal.
And then
It's nothing I haven't seen before. Don't stress it.
Frank's just looking expectantly at Charlie.
I'm going to send you a message real quick.
And so... Yeah, go ahead, Britt, go ahead. You're holding the pooper scooper in one hand, but as you look over at Frank and he's just sort of expectantly waiting for you to put it to use, you slide the pooper scooper into your backpack, and what do you do instead to deal with the mess?
Grab a straw.
You fish a straw out of your bag, kneel down, and you all hear a loud slurp as Charlie begins to suck the oil off the floor through the straw. He lets out a loud burp as he stands up, patting his stomach.
PU is like staring, like big smile underneath his RCD.
Well, Cathode Kathy, you ain't so bad, eh?
A Rick Astley animation just freezes.
Yeah. Right in mid-stride, Rick Astley's eyes are shut, his mouth is open. It's almost as if he's squirming in disgust. And so, a few minutes later, you're sitting in the back of the stolen taxi. The pink, fluffy dice now sitting above the dashboard, not attached to the rear view mirror, because that's barely hanging on. Instead, there's a big rusty nail sticking out of the leather upholstery on the taxi's roof that's been bent around to turn into a hook, and the dice are dangling from that. The neon lights of the ports dazzle your senses. The vehicle's interior is bathed in a surreal glow, casting shifting patterns of vivid colours across your face. PU weaves erratically through the chaotic traffic of flying cars and hover bikes that swarm the skies like luminous insects, jostling you around the interior of the taxi. The thumping bass music from the countless nightclubs and brothels that speed by almost makes you feel like you're in some kind of carnival ride. Outside, holographic dancers twist and twirl on the billboards, soaked in neon, their digital forms merging with the real world in a mesmerizing dance of light and technology. PU looks over his shoulder at everyone gathered in the back seat, smiles, asks, "Are you all ready for this?" And then slams his thumb on the play button of the media player in the dashboard. People dressed in extravagant fashion roam the streets, their augmented bodies and neural-linked accessories turning them into living works of art. The taxi's windows are tinted, mostly with grime, But you can still catch glimpses of the hedonistic revelry outside, champagne-sipping elites partying on private yachts and android escorts catering to every desire. PU's taxi, though, is your ticket to something different tonight. As you cross a pollution-choked canal, leaving the ports district behind, the scenery transforms dramatically. The kaleidoscope of colours gives way to dimly lit alleys and crumbling infrastructure. The sleek nightclubs and converted warehouses are replaced by grimy, abandoned buildings with broken windows. Flickering neon signs advertise cheap, synthetic food and second-rate cybernetic enhancements to the dishevelled masses picking through the trash-strewn streets. The air grows thicker with pollution, and the scent of decay and desperation seeps through the vents. You've arrived at your destination, the slums, Barnyard Fields. And there it is, about a block down the street ahead of you, the Node Cafe. You can see the facade just like you saw it on the camera feeds, a thick metal shutter pulled down over the entrance, absolutely coated in graffiti tags. Laundromat, 24-hour open 24 hours to the left, and to the right, an outdoor food court hawking deep-fried squirrels, spider pops, and roast rat to the masses. The noxious-smelling fumes congealing in a steam that settles over the street. What would you like to do?
Well, Frank is going to eyeball a nearby dumpster, garbage dumpster. He's going to go over it, empty it, turn it over upside down, and then he's going to push the now empty dumpster next door to the cyber cafe. And it's going to become very evident what his plan is before he is concluded, in case any of you, I don't know, want to demonstrate above room temperature intelligence.
Yeah, as soon as PU winds the taxi into a little car park off to the side just before the laundromat, Frank is already out. He makes his way across the parking lot to the heavy green dumpster that's there. And Frank, you're an old mining bot. No roll needed. You just hoist the dumpster up and begin to carry it in your arms down the street towards the cyber cafe.
I emptied the rubbish that was already in there.
Yeah, tip it upside down, raining old food wrappers, discarded morsels of biological matter, and
I do, however, see most of a tofurkey roll with gravy. Roll that has been only half eaten, and I'm going to snag that because I know that PU will appreciate it.
Catch it with your right hand, stow it into your
pocket. Yep.
As you continue moving the dumpster towards the cyber cafe. And when you get to the cyber cafe, what do you do at the dumpster?
I look for what is likely to be an exit that we'll use, and I'll set the dumpster right next to the door.
Yeah. So, you could put it right up against the front entrance, but you've still got the blueprint that Azure managed to procure blinking in your RED. So, you've got a couple of options, Frank. You can have the dumpster right up against the front wall of the server room. You could stash it next to the manager's office, or you can press it up against the easternmost wall of the cafe proper. Any further than that, and you'd probably step into the courtyard at the back and risk having those gang goons realize that something's up.
I'm still hoping they're going to let me kick in the manager's office wall. I'm going to go there.
We'll see.
Frank, and then I'm gonna go back eagerly because I want to give PU his tofu turkey roll.
You see Frank emerge from the side street along the left of the along the runs along the left-hand side of the bodega. A big grin on his face, indicating he's satisfied with what he's done, pressing the dumpster up against the wall of the manager's office. And when he returns, PU, he's brandishing something in his hands just for you.
Oh, very nice, Frank. Thank you kindly.
And he's gonna take a big old bite of this half-eaten tofu tofurkey wrap.
Oh, you can really taste the fake turkey.
Your iron jaws make quick work of the faux turkey, and sure, there's a little bit of mold on the inside of the wrap, but it's still good, and as it slides down your throat, you let out a satisfied burp. And I'll let you add 1 HP to your total, and this can go over your max.
Hell yeah, thank you, Frank.
Just looking after my little bud.
Unbeknownst to PU, the faux turkey has been utterly riddled with stimulants and growth hormones, and PU's metabolism picks up on at least some of that, making him feel slightly more active than he was before.
Alright, I think I'm all set for this.
And Pu's gonna do some stretches as he leans over. Ash is falling out of one of his pockets from emptying a cigarette. He's shaking out wrappers from his tattered jeans.
Alrighty, so I grab the dog, sneak in, you cut the lights. Lights out, I grab the shit, we get out, we get paid, easy stuff.
Want me to make a door?
I will message you, Frank, if I need you to. And then you can go buck wild.
If you could find a way to open the front without alerting anything, that could be appreciated.
Yeah, don't go setting off any alarms. I've made that mistake.
So
yeah.
So PU's going to attempt to sneak around the right-hand side of the building, duck around the back, and emerge in front of the vent where the toilet is. Make entrance with Rusty and hope that the gang goons don't catch him. The gang goons might look over in that direction. PU's hoping they don't, but Azure, now that you're standing in front of the bodega, you can see its neon sign glowing above the doorway. Node Cafe blinking on and off. It's obvious to you that this building is still connected to the utilities grid and it's still powered, and that means there's probably a few things you could do to make PU's job a little easier.
Yes.
But you probably need to sneak a bit closer to the gang goons to get a good look at exactly what you've got to work with that you could distract them with. So I will ask you to go ahead and make me an agility check. And if you have the stealth proficiency, you may add to it.
I did give myself stealth. I like to not get seen if I can avoid it.
You got
So
this,
agility
Azure.
plus stealth. Agility is weird. Oh god.
You got this,
Agility is
Azure.
I was like, agility is my best score. Do I want to use my second glitch already?
What did you roll?
Really not good. Not a 1.
Well,
Not
that's
a 1.
good.
Not a 1?
I didn't roll a 1. I'm sneaking. I'm gonna use my second glitch to reroll
Use the
this.
second
It
glitch?
was
Alright,
real
go
bad.
ahead.
That
Go
was
ahead.
real bad.
It's alright, Charlie's got plenty of glitches that he can spend on you later.
We love you, Charlie.
Okay, so I rolled a 6 total.
6.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and if you
With the
think about the
glitch?
fact that I've got a +4,
Well,
it means I rolled a
with the
2 on
glitch?
both rolls.
you've got to... I'll let you roll again, because you have a +4.
I mean, I did already roll twice. That's with the
I know.
glitch.
Don't
But I'll let-
object!
Alright.
Take
I'll
it!
let you roll it, because your agility is quite high, so I'll grant you...
So bad. This is better. It's still a 9, though. Oh my
9?
goodness.
Oh my
The
god.
DR was 8. So
Oh.
you've made it. So Azure begins to creep around the left, down the little side street, and you emerge in.
Stealthiest.
You emerge around the corner into the courtyard. It looks like some sort of ancient smoking area. There's a single concrete picnic table in the very center, but it's collapsed under its own weight long ago. It's half swallowed up in the ground, and the gangoons are all assembled over an overturned trash can. There's indeed 4 of them, and they're loudly protesting as one of them flips a card down on the trash can. Read 'em and weep! 5 aces! And another gangoon reaches out, raps his friend on the shoulder with a fist, and he says, "For God's sake! You can't just put nothing but aces in the deck. You gotta use a real one. That don't count. Let's go again. I'm dealing us in again, okay?" As they argue over their game, you slide into cover behind a stack of wooden crates that at one point in time apparently carried what the label simply refers to as real sandwiches, TM. And you survey the courtyard. The whole place is lit in the neon glow of a single light hanging above the door that leads into the storage room. The neon light gleams loudly in the sky, loudly in the night, proclaiming that this entrance is for staff only. The lettering bright enough that it projects light over the entire courtyard. There don't
Mr.
appear
DM,
to be... Yep.
I don't think Frank has the intelligence or the patience, so at some point, he is just going to have started wandering down this area.
Yeah.
And around about here, he's just going to start singing.
Right. Cut it. Cut it.
I think we're alone now. There doesn't seem to be anyone around. I think we're alone now. And he's going to start recreating the dance scene from Tiffany.
And Azure,
The
hearing that...
beating of our hearts is the only sound.
Hearing that,
He's just gonna be doing it loudly.
Hearing that in your comms, followed by PU's loud protestations, you realize the go time is now. If you're gonna do something, you could short out that neon sign and cast the gangoons into darkness.
Yeah, do they seem to be reacting at all to this sound?
One of them just looks up, and his eyes narrow as he looks in the darkness, and eventually he seems
For
to
sure
think
there's
it's...
going to be an electrical error and the light's going to blow for some reason.
Hey, you hear that? Someone knows how to sing, says the gangoon. Another scorpion raises his hand. He says, it's the slums. Everyone's high off their face on something. What are you gonna do? Nothing much else to do to pass the time. And at this point, Azure... So, you've got 2 ways of doing this. You can roll to just simply make it blink and die without causing a fuss, or you can slot your app and cause it to explode, possibly disabling the gangoons as it goes out.
At the same time... Oh, sorry. I was just going to say at the same time,
Oh, go on.
Piu's just going to bend down and say, "Rusty, come on, we gotta go. Jump in."
I think I'm going to go for a more quiet killing of the lights. The lights just go
Sure.
rather than explode.
Your knowledge is +1, so go ahead and roll me a knowledge check. Add technology if you got it.
Get some good rolls eventually.
Hey.
What'd you get?
9.
9. DR's 8, it's only a single sign. So, as one of the gangoons begins to sing along to Frank's voice echoing from the other side of the courtyard. You wrench the cord out of your cyber deck, plug it into the jack under your temple, and execute the command. The neon sign flickers once and instantly dies, casting the courtyard into darkness. Ah, shit, looks like the globe's given out, shouts one of the Gangoons. Hang on, I got a lighter in here. We can continue our game. Hang on. And as they begin to fumble around,
Rusty, jump in.
I will ask PU. Well, actually, I won't ask PU to do anything because the guards are distracted. So PU, and I presume Frank in tow. Frank, are you just following PU as well?
Oh, if I see PU, he's gonna start following. He's gonna still sing, and he's still gonna be dancing. But you know, he's.
Damn it, Frank! This is supposed to be stealth mission.
I actually didn't. I didn't actually hear what Tristan said. Sorry, I'm not trying to be difficult.
I apologize. I said, PU
So
said,
what did you
stay
say
back,
again,
Frank. This is supposed to be a stealth mission. He said it in gritted teeth.
Do you say that while he's singing?
Yeah, I'm just like trying to push him away because I've picked up a Rusty like under one arm. I've got the crowbar in my other hand, and I'm getting ready to jump up through the try and crack open the vent to slide through.
Well, as you emerge, PU, around the corner, desperately hushing Frank, and I imagine, Frank, you're probably not going to stop singing. You're probably just going to sing a little bit quieter.
Well, no. When he said this is supposed to be a stealth mission, he's going to start apologizing profusely. Oh, my bad. I just not understand. I'll go away now.
PU just says "fuck it," and he sticks his crowbar into the edge of the vent. He's gonna crack it and throw, well, not throw, but push Rusty through, and then try to slip himself through.
As you insert your crowbar into the grating and lift, what is your strength, PU?
Oh, not good. It is a +0.
+0. So I'll say, as you insert the crowbar and go to pull, you realize, despite what it looks like, despite the fact that it's flecked with rust and grime and dirt, this vent is secured quite firmly to the wall. And seeing Frank creeping back around the corner, still profusely apologizing, you realize there's something he might be able to do here.
Shit. Okay, Frank, you make it up to me if you just crack this for me. Push the crowbar.
Okay, he takes a crowbar and I break the crowbar in half. And I hand them both the 2 bits.
Stealth missions.
Is that what you wanted?
Love them.
I'm good at bending bars and girders.
P is looking down at his broken crowbar, and he looks up at Frank.
Desperately eager to
Frank.
please.
Open the vent.
Oh, reach over, grab the vent, rip out half the wall.
Go ahead, Frank, make me a strength check, please, and you can add your athletics to... You don't have that proficiency, so just a strength check.
Oh, I thought we said that he had the athletics, and what was it?
Yes.
Athletics? It was athletics
Survival
and
perception.
Survival and athletics and perception.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so go ahead, add your athletics to this. That's a +2.
I
You're
rolled a
rolling with the
natural
alpha.
one. I'm redoing that. I always roll a bloody 1.
Go ahead.
It's just that's got to be a glitch. Okay, so
13.
I rolled
13 +2 makes 15. So Frank flexes his knuckles and he reaches out, grabs hold of the vent, and You think the wall's about to come tumbling down, PU. Your heart leaps into your mouth. Any second now, those gangoons are going to hear the cacophony, whirl around, see Frank there and reach for their guns. But what happens is Frank just reaches out, grabs the vent, and lifts. And then there's a click, clunk, and the vent detaches from the wall.
And Piu's diving through the vent with Rusty in tow.
So Charlie, peeking around the corner, you see PU scrambling for the vent, Rusty under his arm, and I'd like you to go ahead and make me... you make knowledge to pilot Rusty, don't you?
I think so.
Yeah, so go ahead and make me a knowledge check, and you do have the mechanics proficiency, so add +2 to it. 18. Nice. So, you reach for the little control panel and press the buttons that guide Rusty through the tunnel. He leaps out of PU's hands and sets off at a trot down the little ventilation shaft. He reaches another grating at the end, about a meter down, and his mouth opens. A little screwdriver comes out and unscrews the screws of the vent, one at a time. And then when PU gets there, he reaches out, carefully detaches the vent, hoists Rusty under his arm once again, and drops down into... Well, PU, I would say ordinarily anyone who's set foot in this toilet would be retching with disgust, but this is probably 10 times cleaner than where PU goes to the toilet. There's a strong smell of feces and urine, unidentified, harsh brown stains baked into the cracked tiling, but the toilet itself appears to be empty. There are 3 cubicles and a urinal, no one's at either of them, and you and Rusty are alone in the room, save for a single metal door that leads out, according to the map, to the break room. As you approach the door, Rusty looks over his shoulder at you and bares his fangs and whispers, "Growl, growl." His eyes gleaming, bright green, peering through the gap underneath the door into the dark break room beyond, and it's clear to you that Rusty can see something out there.
Right, are the lights off
Mr.
inside?
GM?
Yep.
The lights
haven't
are on
done
in
that
the
yet. I
toilet.
should do that.
The lights are... Yeah, it's up to you if you want to do that, Azure.
Yeah, can I go
Piu's
in
gonna
the-
send the message through. Take out the lights.
I'll do that, or I'll try to do that. See if my
Yep.
rolls are any better.
Go ahead, Azure. Knowledge plus 2 if you've got technology.
That's better. Natural 20.
Natural 20. Nice. You slam the enter key on your
Mr.
cyber deck
GM?
and... Yep. What are you saying, Frank?
I just want to point out that Frank, because he has been told to be stealthy, is now whispering the song, and we were up to the verse where he is singing, "Look at the way we gotta hide what we're doing, because what would they say if they ever knew?" And so that's where I'm at in the song. Just so you know.
So, it's at this point, Azure slaps her finger on the enter key, that the lights in the bathroom flicker and die PU. Rusty's eyes gleaming green pinpricks in the darkness, and he says, "Whimper," as he looks towards the door to the break room. Meanwhile, Charlie, your control panel for Rusty in your hand is vibrating, triggering alerts. The little readout saying, motion detected, electronic signatures." Looks like Rusty has detected the presence of another drone, similar to him, in the vicinity.
Oh,
There's maybe another puppy or something. Run it in low, please.
Is there anything you'd like Rusty to do? Any emergency orders you'd like to give him, Charlie?
I would like him to try and see what it is. Try and find it without being spotted.
The alert blinks up on the little screen on the control panel, and Rusty tells you that on the other side of the door, just a few meters from him and PU, is what he describes as an autonomous unit. It seems to be set to defend mode. But without laying eyes on it himself, he can't tell you exactly what it is.
He sends through a message to Charlie. Dog's freaking out. What is up?
I'm gonna send a message back and say, there's a thing in there with you, be careful.
Shit.
Meanwhile, in the courtyard, one of the gang goons finally finishes fetching a lighter out of his leather jacket. He flips open the cap and he says, Here, okay, hang on. And as he presses his thumb down on the mechanism, Frank, you realize you've got approximately a second to do something before the gang goon turns on the lighter, and they very possibly see you standing there on the edge of the courtyard. Two options are immediately obvious to you. You can get back around the corner, or you can try, though it will be fairly difficult, to squeeze through that gap in the wall and follow PU.
You forgot option number 3.
Which is?
A change in the playlist to Britney, Oops, I Did It Again.
And letting the gang goons see you?
No, he's not bright, but he's not unbelievably stupid. He is gonna move over. Okay, he is unbelievably stupid, but he is gonna move around the corner.
He's gonna head back around. So, PU, from the other side of the grate, you just hear, Oops, I did it again. And Frank, you have the athletics proficiency.
I play with your heart. Got lost in the game. Oh, baby. Oops. Yeah.
Frank's voice recedes into the distance. I'm not going to make you roll for it because you do have the athletics proficiency. You book it back around to the corner just as the courtyard is illuminated by the flickering light of the gang goon's lighter. Okay, deal me in again. And remember, we ain't using that deck, that one that's full of aces. I want the proper deck this time, the one with the 52 deck. As you are, Charlie, with PU and Rusty inside and Frank booking it around the corner, are you doing anything, or are you waiting for PU to find a way to get you in, to unlock the front door?
Yeah, I'm sort of waiting for that. I'm wondering if there's any way I can tell the status of that door in the courtyard.
You could head over and head back down the alleyway. Oh, the status of the door in the courtyard.
Yeah.
From where you are, you can see it, and it doesn't look like it's electronically locked. It's a fairly standard metal door. There doesn't look like there's any visible technical enhancements, but there is a keyhole above the handle, and, well, you think the Scorpions probably have it locked, but then again, they don't seem that smart. The lights are dim enough now that there is a slim chance that you and Charlie might actually be able to sneak through that door.
I was initially considering just electronically locking it so that they couldn't run in if something happened. But if it's not electronic and we might have a chance of getting in, what do you think, Charlie?
Sure.
All right.
Stealth has been going great so far, so let's see how that goes.
We'll say as you're contemplating this, Frank, I'll give you the option of joining them if you want, or is Frank going to hang around and wait for another means of entry?
Frank is trying to remember the words to the song. He's trying to stop panicking because he is worried about the others having gone near a large group of violent men, and that makes him uncomfortable. He's been told he's been mucking it up. He is going to be loitering around where he is, waiting for them to tell him where they want him to go.
Yeah, and then he can probably charge through a wall. Okay, so Azure and Charlie, I'd like both of you to go ahead and make me agility checks, and you may add +2 if you have either stealth or insight, because the Gangoons, they only have a lighter, and it's flickering, it obscures as much as it reveals, and there's every opportunity to sort of dash in between the shadows and sort of follow them to the door.
We want just one of us to go first to check the door, and then signal to the other to follow. How's your agility, Frank? Not Frank.
Charlie?
It's a +2.
+2. Up to you. Who'd like to go first?
Stealth and insight, so I can do either of them.
You could, yes.
You want to go first? That's fine.
I'll go first. Alright, I'm gonna roll. 12.
12, nice. So you're able to duck out from your hiding spot, approach the door, and waiting a moment for one of the Gangoons to stop looking over his shoulder, you leap towards the door. What is your presence, Azure?
Presence. Not great. -2.
-2. So I will say, Azure, as you reach out and grab the handle of the door, it turns. The door begins to open, but you fail to notice the little tripwire strung across the doorway as you scramble into the darkness. You only realize it's there as you feel your ankle rubbing against it. You feel the wire tense and snap, and then there's a loud click. Not loud enough for the Gangoons to hear, but loud enough that you can hear it and have just a moment to realize you fucked up, as a silenced handgun that's been jury-rigged to the wall has its trigger pulled, thunk, firing a bullet straight across the doorway.
Silence.
I'll allow you an agility roll to see if you get out of the way. If you have acrobatics, you can add +2.
Don't have acrobatics. We're at 14.
14. Soon as you hear the click, instinct kicks in. You duck and roll out of the way and watch as the single 45 caliber bullet slams into the brick wall where your body was a fraction of a second ago, kicking up a small cloud of dust. Now that the tripwire's broken, the trap is no longer a threat.
Was enough noise made to be heard anywhere?
The Gangoons don't seem to have noticed.
And I'd like to message a very shaky all clear to Charlie.
Your turn, Charlie. Go ahead, make me an agility check and add +2 if you have either stealth or insight.
Can I use a glitch, please?
You sure can.
Taking again? Agility.
Agility, yep. And if you have either insight or stealth, you can add +2.
I cannot, but it's a 13.
How much was it?
13.
13, yeah. Easy enough. You follow Azure's path, and the door still open a crack. Scramble inside, pulling it carefully shut behind you. The room inside is pitch black. Azure's killed the lights, but it's obvious to the both of you that this storage room is absolutely packed with rows upon rows of wooden crates, plastic boxes, and shelves. And Charlie, being a gearhead, the shelf immediately to your left, you recognize that it is groaning under the weight of many different pieces of technology that, in the condition they're in, would be worth quite a bit on the black market. You point it out to Azure, and sure enough, Azure, in the dim light, you're able to make out some of the things being kept in storage, and using the light of your LED to illuminate the contents of some of the crates and boxes, you conclude that if you're able to get all of this stuff out of the Bodega, what here would be worth easily 500 creds, assuming you could find someone willing to buy it.
Stuff is this, like, physical space-wise?
So it would take, to get all of it out, it would take 10 inventory slots.
I've got some.
Remember
Pockets
Frank's
gone,
offer.
Frank?
If
Frank can carry
Frank could get here. But from the storage room, there's two options to proceed. There's a wooden door to your right that, according to your map, leads out into the cafe proper. But then, directly ahead of you, across the storage room, is a little archway that leads into the manager's office. There's no door there. There's just a couple strings of beads to separate it from the storage room. But before you decide where to go, we're going to return to PU and Rusty in the darkened bathroom. Rusty still announcing his displeasure at something being active in the break room.
Ready, Rusty, chill. We'll figure this out. Okay, something in here. I assume the stall door doesn't, like, the wall doesn't go all the way, like
to the roof? No, not at all.
Fantastic. PU's going to stand up on the toilet seat, and he's going to look over the next wall. I assume, knowing how dingy and gross this bathroom is, someone probably left the toilet seat up.
Sure did.
Did the toilet seat? Fancy.
PU is going to pull a strip of magnesium from his breast pocket, and flicking his new incinerate butane lighter thumb implant, he's going to start the magnesium strip and throw it into the water of the toilet, create a distraction of whatever is in the break room.
The water in the toilet immediately begins to fizz. Foam wells up inside the toilet bowl, begins to spill over onto the tiles, letting out a loud hissing. And as it does, you hear the sound of something heavy whirring in the break room, and suddenly, crash! Bang! Something pounds against the door of the toilet opposite you, and this is your chance, PU, to make a dash for the break room and scramble to safety.
PU is going to pick up Rusty and say, "All right, come on, let's scram," and wait for the door to give way on the other side, so that whatever's banging on that door goes through, is at least distracted by whatever's in the washroom with the lights going off, and then he's going to make a dash out of the break room.
So PU, you see the door opening a crack just long enough to see the shape of a metallic canine framed in the darkness before you burst out of the WC into the break room proper. And here's where it goes to shit, PU, because the thing in the break room, it wasn't left by the Scorpions. It must have belonged to Solitaire, and Solitaire set it to defense mode. The Scorpions look like they were unable to disable it, so what they've done, your heart sinks as you realize that the break room door on this side is piled high with furniture. Chairs, tables, a moth-bitten, sickly green couch, all pressed up against the door, presumably to keep the drone that's on patrol from breaking out and getting into the cafe proper.
Ah, shit biscuits.
You hear the porcelain toilet bowl being smashed into bits behind you, and you realize you have approximately 5 seconds to find a way out before it finishes making short work of that toilet and returns to its patrol route.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yep,
Cool.
Charlie.
Can you knock it in the toilet?
That's what I was gonna do. Yeah. PU is going to fumble in his jacket's pocket for a second, taking a quick second to put it in another cig, and pulls out his mechanical lockpick to try and lock the washroom door behind this patrolling bot.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead. Roll me an agility. You're doing it at DR10 because you're a Gangoon. Breaking and entering is your specialty, so you get +2, and you also get +2 from thievery. So you only need to roll a 6 or higher to get this done.
And I have 2 glitches, everyone, for when I inevitably roll a 1. So I did roll a 2, and then I get a +2/+2.
So you get +2. Well, the DR is 10.
And got you.
And then +2.
All right, so I will be using one of those glitches.
If you reduce to 5,
Okay.
it'll put you to 6, right? And it'll be 6.
Well, it only gets reduced by 2 because of the Gangoon.
Oh.
So it goes from 12 to 10, and then he gets +2 from his class ability and +2 from his proficiency.
I
So still a
would
bit
like
short.
to re-roll taking this roll if I
Yeah.
may.
Yep, go ahead.
So I got a 17 plus
Nice.
without the bonuses.
You take
So that-
one look at the rather large metal canine, at least 3 times the size of Rusty, and its teeth at least 5 times the length, smashing the porcelain into dust, and then you pull the door to the washroom shut, jiggle the lockpick in the lock, hear that click, and immediately let out a sigh of relief. That's quickly dispelled about 3 seconds later as the dog realizes it's locked in and bang! Slams at the door, straining to break through. But that's bought you some time, PU. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna take the 7 alarm burger that Frank gave me last session. I'm gonna throw it over the stall door, and then I'm gonna try and fucking move the shit out of the way of the doorway.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try and fuck it up with the 7 alarm burger because he said it causes heart attacks. So you never know.
Alarming.
Unfortunately, the robot dog doesn't seem to have taken any notice at all, but PU, you start dismantling the blockade. Go ahead and roll a strength check for me.
Shit,
And
fuck,
you don't-
shit,
If you have
shit.
athletics, you can add +2.
This dude is as thin as a like pencil. He does not have anything athletic about him.
You know, if you were to call for assistance, I'm fairly sure.
Yeah, I'm
Frank
pretty
could
sure
be
I'm
there real
dialing into
quick.
Frank at this point.
Yeah.
Frank, big dog, in washroom, send help, please.
Is there a window there?
Yeah, there's a table in the reception area lined with computers. You won't have to smash through the whole wall, so it'll be less noisy, but the window's not big enough for you. You'll still have to do some smashing.
I'm gonna do a barrel. I'm gonna dive, as in hands together, dive in,
Dive
roll on my
straight through
feet, and yell at Frank, yell at PU to get away. I'm coming in,
So
and
Frank,
all one movement.
Your agility's fairly low, as I understand it, so I'm going to ask you to roll agility to see if you manage to make the barrel roll gracefully, or if you're going to just smash through the wall and make a big ruckus instead.
If I recall correctly, my stats are strength 2, agility 1, presence -2, toughness
Yes.
2, and knowledge 0. Is that correct?
That's correct. But agility's
Right.
still +1, which is...
Yeah. I'm just wanting to make sure I.
That's correct, I remember.
And you want me to roll a d20?
Roll a d20, add your agility, and let's say you can add +2 for your athletics.
Excellent.
7 + 2. Would you like to glitch, Frank?
I don't have any more.
You don't have any more.
I will donate a glitch.
I
Donate
only
a
rolled
glitch.
1.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Frank. Roll again. You've been donated 1 by PU. $11, nice. Somehow you compress your huge form into the shape of a ball, run forwards and smash through the window. The window's only about 3/4 of a meter tall and about as much wide. But you're the perfect size. You smash through the glass, roll over a table, nearly pulling a single computer off onto the tiled floor, and then get to your feet, charge through the door to the break room, and in one swift motion, hold your arms in front of you like a battering ram and smash! With your +2 strength, you burst through the door, spilling the pile of furniture, scattering them like bowling pins across the floor.
Jesus, Frank. Good timing. Let's get the fuck out of here.
I'm going
Okay,
to...
at about this point, PU is going to realize that he did not very specifically tell Frank to leave a door that could be closed after the fact.
I don't think PU cares at this point. He saw a big dog with bigger teeth, and he's getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Rusty in tow.
Scooping Rusty onto your hands, you dash out of the break room into the main area. And Frank, do you follow? Or are you curious about what's banging on the toilet door?
If I allow myself to be curious, there's going to be a scene where Frank, with his presence of -2, is trying to get the dog to heal. And we all know how that's going to work out, so he's going to follow PU.
I will say, though, Frank, you have the perception proficiency. So as you're leaving the room, following behind PU, you notice in the corner of the room, opposite the doorway that PU just dashed through, there's a water cooler pressed up against the wall, and you can just make out, leaned against it in the shadows, a rather large-looking shotgun.
Pick that up.
Frank grabs the shotgun.
Can I see anything in here that looks like it would be a control harness or a lead or anything like that for a giant doggy?
Unfortunately, no. If you had to hazard a guess, you'd say it's pure coincidence that the dog ended up getting trapped in here. The break room seems to be furnished as a makeshift apartment for Solitaire. There's a mattress on the floor. The couch has been pushed away to serve as most of the furniture's been cleared away to block the door, but the mattress is still on the floor, and the shotgun by the water cooler was obviously left there in case of intruders. You scoop it up and dash out into the main area of the bar, following PU. Yep.
How long would it take to pick up the mattress and put that up against the wall? And can I grab whatever has been hidden under the mattress?
I'll ask you to roll strength, adding +2 for your athletics for that, to see if you have enough time.
Easy stuff for Frank.
No,
3.
I rolled a 3.
So Frank, You move towards the mattress, and then you hear the mechanical joints of the drone whirring as it prepares for a full-bodied charge against the door. You realize you don't have any time, so you charge out of the room into the bodega proper after PU, the shotgun under your arm. Just as I roll for the drone, it rolls a 12. There's a loud crash as the toilet door bursts open and the canine drone comes charging out across the break room. But you were both aware that it's there, so I'll say that you automatically win the initiative as we go to combat.
Well, shit, not so stealthy anymore.
It's fine.
It hasn't made...
Quietly.
Yeah, you can do it quietly. PU, you hear the crash, your heart sinks, you whirl around just in time to see the drone's legs pumping at full speed, carrying it across the break room. It reaches the doorway of the bodega and its eyes glimmer bright red as it registers 2 targets, Frank and PU. What do you do, PU?
PU's raising up his smart gun and he is auto-firing that motherfucker.
Yeah, go ahead. Roll me, I believe, an agility to auto-fire.
Can do.
Behind us.
We'll get to... You guys will get a chance to do something in a moment, so you're probably going to hear the gunfire.
I got a 14 on an agility check to smart fire.
Yeah, nice. So you hit it. Roll the damage.
So I believe I make 2 attacks.
You get to attack again, but you roll the damage for this one first.
All right, cool. That's a 4
4?
damage.
You unload into the dog as it charges towards you. Your bullets kicking up sparks as they hit its thick armor. 2 points are subtracted from your damage. It takes 2 points of damage, but you're still firing. Go ahead, roll another. Agility.
Ooh, that's a
again.
17 to hit.
17. Roll damage again.
That's a 6. We take that.
6. It takes 4 points of damage as one of your bullets strikes a panel on its side and a shard of metal flies off, clanging against the wall, and you get 1 more shot.
Yeah, because you get a maximum of 3
3,
attacks
yes.
if you can hit them back to back. Again, that's awesome. Another 17.
Another 17. Go ahead, roll the damage.
That's a 4.
4. It takes 2 points of damage as another bullet strikes one of its back legs. It stumbles and you hear the gears inside its dog-sized, crab-legged body squeal as it corrects course and continues coming, but a bit slower than before. Good shots, PU. Alright, Frank, you're up.
Frank looks devastated and very, very, very sad as he places the muzzle of the shotgun against the head of the thing and pulls the trigger.
Go ahead, make me a presence check.
Oof.
That would be a 0 then.
0.
Oof.
Hold the shotgun aloft, press it against the creature's head, but it lashes out with one of its front legs, knocking you away, and the shotgun goes off with a great boom! And I'm going to roll to see if the gang goons outside hear that. You appear to be lucky. Azure and Charlie, hearing the boom of the shotgun, you wince, look over your shoulders, peering at the storage room door, but doesn't appear to be any activity. Outside, you hear one of the gang goons cheer, and it's obvious they're immersed in their card game. Alright.
Gunshots are just like the background ambience of Psy.
Off the
They
slums,
really
yeah. So,
Perfectly normal.
Charlie, you're up. You hear the gunfire coming from the adjacent room, and you have a few options. You can get to the doorway and attempt to lay down your own covering fire, or you can simply pull out your control stick and send Rusty into the thick of it.
Yeah, I'm going to send Rusty into it, but can I also lock the door?
So it can't.
Uh,
Yep. To the. Hearing the gunshot, knowing that you're lucky this time, but the Gangoons might hear more cacophonies to come. You turn around, flick the latch on the metal door, and then press the button on your control stick, ordering Rusty to attack. Go ahead, make me a knowledge +2 check to direct Rusty to attack.
13.
13, nice. How much does Rusty do with his bite attack? I think it's
0.
D6.
It's a D4, and I rolled a 2.
2. Well, he could. Well, his armor is a D2, so he could roll a 1. I've just gotten lucky so far. So, PU, the little drone dog in your arm suddenly springs to life. He bares his teeth, lets out a loud growl, and charges at the drone as it rushes towards you, leaping through the air and sinking his teeth into its front leg. The drone looks at Rusty with annoyance, gives one shake of its leg, and detaches him, sending him flying across the room. But Rusty's teeth leave little indents in the metal casing, dealing 1 point of damage to the drone. And then, Azure, you're up.
Is this door
This door here to the bar, that one
yeah,
appears to
that's-
be unlocked. It's a simple wooden door.
Does it appear to be trapped?
This one, no. At least not from this side, and you doubt it would be from the other side. It looks like the Scorpions just set up that one to make sure no one could get the drop on them.
Is there anything I can do hacking-wise to a drone? I think I need an app for that, and I don't believe I have the appropriate one.
You do need an app normally, but you could try to gain access to its friend-foe recognition and scramble that. It would be quite difficult. Otherwise, as the drone charges across the bodega, it's surrounded by vending machines, computer terminals, little neon lights, and cyber posters. You could use your app to...
Use the boom boom.
You could use your boom boom to shower it with viscera if you like. Or you could simply take a shot at it with your SMGs.
You could
Which one's gonna be
rickroll it.
quieter? Oh, we lost someone. Which one's going to be quieter? Do we think? Gosh, I don't know.
You got this. I believe in you.
Oh, I don't. I might make some things explode nearby.
Yeah, alright. Go ahead and make me a... let me just check the book to double check what an app roll is. To use an app. Yep, go ahead, make me knowledge DR12.
Yep.
And you can add +2 for your technology.
Easy. 16.
16. Nice. You slot the cartridge in and reattach the cord of your cyber deck, and as the drone charges across the bodega floor, you load the script and execute. There's a chance that PU and Frank may be caught in the crossfire. Go ahead and roll
Oh, dear.
roll a d4 for me, please.
Yikes.
I rolled a 3.
A 3. Ooh, so Frank, PU, and the drone are all getting pummeled. Go ahead, roll a d6 for me, and we'll see how much.
Should not have believed.
Sorry, I didn't roll very much damage at all. 1.
1.
Okay,
Well,
I have D2 armor, I believe.
Yeah, so go ahead. You can roll to absorb that. Frank, however, is with no armor, is taking the 1 point of damage as several of the terminal nodes explode, showering PU, Frank, and the drone with sparks and shards of glass. One of the shards of glass embeds itself in the drone's left eye, severing its targeting system in a stroke of good luck. But it's still up, still charging, and it looks like your app only managed to make the terminals on the far side of the room actually ignite, far away from where the combat is happening. PU, how did you go on absorbing that damage?
Well, if it's 1 damage and I have a D2, I would be absorbing all of it, regardless, wouldn't I?
Yeah, you would actually. Yep, so no damage for PU. Okay, it's the drone's turn, and as it charges, skidding through the shards of glass and screws and sparks flying off the terminals, it opens its mouth, and inside a gun barrel emerges where its tongue would be, and it's going to unleash its auto fire. First on Frank. Go ahead, Frank, roll me an agility to defend. You only need to do DR11 as its targeting system was severed by Azure's attack.
I think we all know that I am not going to roll above a 6.
You can try.
This is not great. I'm not going to lie.
For some reason... Oh, I rolled a 14.
14, nice. The little machine gun rings out, raining bullets through the Bodega, but somehow Frank's able to dodge out of the way and prepare himself to strike back. Go ahead, Frank.
It's particularly astonishing because, you see, Frank thought the dog would be leaping, and so he sort of semi-knelt with his arms outspread to catch the dog. And then the jaw opens up, and the machine gun pops out, and you just hear Frank go, "Well, shoot. No, wait, I didn't mean..." And then the...
The hail of bullets hits the bar behind you, shattering several bottles of real alcohol that oozes into the cracks on the floor. And then, Frank, you're up. What would you like to do?
Cricket bat. If he gets to add his strength, it's a 14.
Yeah, that's a hit. Go ahead, roll the damage.
I believe it was D6 plus 1 or something or other.
Just D6, yep.
4.
Nice.
As the dog stops and its gears whir as it pirouettes on the spot to readjust its trajectory, Frank rushes forwards, cricket bat held aloft in his right hand, and brings it down. The dog's gears whir as the red LED lights flicker once and die, and the metallic body crashes to the ground.
I swear to God, if that dog turns into one of those, we are not keeping it.
Frank is picking up the dog and petting it and cradling it.
PU is lighting his thumb light to navigate in the dark.
PU, go ahead and roll for your ammo, please. It'll be a D6 because you auto-fired.
That's a 3, so I have lost that mag.
Yeah. Slide a new one into the smart pistol.
It's a good thing I bought plenty, but God, that was a lot of damage.
Luckily, with the door locked and the Gangoons immersed in their game outside, it looks like you've got free reign of the Bodega. The main cyber cafe area is in a huge mess now. Terminals smoking, letting out plumes from Azure's assault on them, bottles lying on the ground, shards of glass, bullet holes riddling the walls. But, Frank and PU, there are two things you can see still of interest in the Bodega area. First, across the northernmost wall, a single vending machine, still somehow intact and operational. With the power off, The sign advertising what it's selling is no longer working, but the thing that lets you actually purchase a drink is entirely mechanical, attached to its own mechanism, and the little screen begs you to insert 20 creds for a refreshing drink. To the south, past the Bodega proper, you can see 2 glass doors, the front entrance. They don't appear to be locked, but you can see the iron shutter pulled over the other side, and staring at them from this side, you can see a huge array of technological gizmos and sensors humming on this side of the door, still operational, and you can only guess there's some sort of motion detectors that would have fired if you'd taken the front entrance.
Okay.
There's a line of thick glass windows looking out onto the cyber cafe that, according to your map, are attached directly to the server room. I'll say at this point, the little wooden door that leads to the storage room opens, and Azure and Charlie come creeping out. And as soon as Charlie steps out, Rusty perks up, his little tail begins to wag, and he loudly shouts, "Bark! Bark! Bark!" as he rushes towards his master, reunited once again.
He swings in place, his smart gun at the ready, pointing at the two as they open the door.
Oh, it's just you two. Okay, well, good to see you.
I look at them and ask, "What can I get you at the bar?"
Lean over the bar. Well, as you say this, the shelf behind you with all the bottles completely shattered and draining their last dregs onto the floor. Go ahead, Frank.
I saw a couple of vending machines that had been in a building where a lightning bolt hit it, and all the glass exploded from the electrical, I don't know what. Have any of the vending machines done that? Is it a situation like where PU and Frank are frantically shoving Snickers bars into a bag by the
Unfortunately, there's only the one vending machine, and somehow, through some twist of fate, it's been spared Azure's onslaught. And it's still blinking the little message on its little screen. 20 creds, refreshing drinks, and there's a little thumbs up emoji that occasionally appears on the dot matrix.
Does this vending machine happen to have an access panel or a lock somewhere?
It sure does.
Alright, Frank. First of all, don't go and touch the blinky shit on the door. Please don't, because that's gonna piss off the gang goons outside. Second of all, watch this.
And he's going to swing his lockpicks on his finger, and he's going to jimmy one into the access panel.
Go ahead.
Hey Frank, I got PU. I got a question.
Yeah, what's up, Frank?
As he's playing around.
He's gonna point to the vending machine. Does this thing, given this, gonna offering us a refreshing beverage for 20 credits? Does that mean we're being paid less than a 6-pack to do this job?
Huh. Well, beggars can't be choosers. We might as well get our money's worth then, hey, Frank.
And Pia will try to crack the lock.
Go ahead.
That's not going to happen because that is a 2. Does anyone have a glitch?
I can give you a glitch.
If you're willing to.
A vending machine? Are you willing to, Charlie? Go ahead.
Okay, that's better. It's a 7 plus 4, so 11.
11. So, 2 things happen. The little electronic panel on the front of the vending machine lifts off, and you cross 2 wires together and hear the sound of a door on the side unlocking. And then you hear a loud beep ring out from one of the rooms behind you, somewhere in the recesses of the building, and the little green dot matrix screen on the vending machine simply reads "Intrusion detected."
Oh,
Alarm
even with my
activated. The DR was 12. 11 got it open, but did not avoid setting off the alarm. However, it appears to be a silent alarm. There's no klaxon, there's nothing ringing, there's no turret extending from the vending machine to blast you away. It's registered an intrusion and logged it in the system. And somewhere, something in the recesses of the building is aware. You slide open the door on the side of the vending machine, and inside you find 6 tall black cans. You extract them and proudly show off to the rest of the group 6 cans of Gamer Juice GG Raw flavor. And an icon on the can proudly exclaims that Gamer Juice is now fortified with O-Sleep and Red Juice for the ultimate energy boost. These drinks heal 1d6 HP when you drink them.
He will throw out the cans, 1 to each party member. He'll hang on to the last 3. And P would be familiar with alarm systems, wouldn't he? Given his past?
He would. He's aware that something's registered and there's probably an alarm system somewhere in the building. If he had to hazard a guess, he'd say it'd be in the server room on the mainframe or the manager's office that registered his presence.
Alrighty, I reckon we got either 5 minutes before the fucking Pope show up outside and we need to jam, or something's going on inside. You know, we'll see what happens. But here, grab a drink.
Go ahead, Frank.
Frank's gonna grab the shotgun and the dog.
The dead dog, the now inactive, riddled with bullet holes.
I'm gonna look at the dog and say, I could probably fix that for you.
Yeah. Charlie could probably get it operating again if he was given time and enough materials. Frank's just sort of...
Would I have some idea how likely it is that that alarm is going to be connected to something outside the building that might bring a response upon us?
So with your technology proficiency, Azure, I'd say that 2 possibilities occur in your mind. One is that alarm is connected to some security contractor off-site, and in the next few minutes, rent-a-cops from one of the security corps will be turning up, probably finding the Scorpions and engaging in a running gun battle with them, or, and this is what you would do, because you're a hacker with good OPSEC, Solitaire's set the alarm up on his own personal security system and probably primed some sort of trap or contingency in his hideout.
And that's what I would have done, but would he have done that?
That's the question.
Well,
So
we know that...
Yeah.
We know that Solitaire is stupider than Azure, and likewise, when Azure came up with a really good plan, the person who was much stupider than her did not even come close to following us. I think we might have some coppers coming.
Which means you got to book it. You got to find this dead drop. And, well, at this point, you can narrow it down to either being in the manager's office or the server room.
Alright, fuck it. We don't have a lot of time. Frank, see the glass?
And I'm going to be pointing down to the server room's glass down here overlooking the cafe.
Glass doors, yep.
Smash.
Smash.
Frank just walks towards the wide bay window, holds out his hands, and Kool-Aid Man's through them. As soon as he smashes through the glass, another loud beep emanates from somewhere in the recesses of the building. Beep! And a red light turns on in the server room. On the other side of the window, you can see the mainframe humming away. It's separated from the rest of the server room by a silver curtain And suddenly, this silver curtain is absolutely eviscerated as an auto turret in the server room slides out of a compartment in the roof and opens fire on Frank. Go ahead, Frank. Make me an agility test.
Sorry, Frank.
Just murdering him today, aren't you?
12.
I didn't do anything.
Hey, nice.
You tell him to smash.
That's what he does. That's him.
Frank smashes through the glass, and he just so happens to luckily be standing just behind the corner of the mainframe when the turret lets loose a hail of bullets, shredding the silver curtain and the rest of the glass window, but missing Frank by a hair's breadth. However, Frank, go ahead and roll me another agility check to roll for initiative.
Music's banging.
Right?
The music is good. How'd you go, Frank, on that agility test to roll initiative?
Ooh.
A dirty 20.
A dirty 20, nice. So Frank is able to extract himself from the hail of bullets and return to the others in the cyber cafe as the turret empties the rest of its clip, spraying the front of the bodega with bullets, and then you hear a loud click as the turret starts to reload, and you have a few seconds to plan what you're going to do. Right, we'll go Azure up first this time. Quite obvious to you, Azure, that the auto turret activated because the alarm had been primed, by the way.
Yeah. Even if the vending machine wasn't going to call security, this probably will as well. The glass would definitely will.
Well, can you turn it off?
That's a good idea. Yes. I should like to see if I can turn it off.
Yeah, go ahead. As you your cyber deck still plugged in from before, you scan the room and you get an electronic signal pinging from the manager's office. It looks like there's a terminal that controls the security there, but it's been disconnected from the wider network. You'll have to physically access it. So if you want, you can use your turn scrambling to get to the manager's office.
Yeah, I'm wary of the door towards it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to head over that way. I'd also like to just, while I'm doing that, just tell everyone that there is indeed a bunch of stuff in the storage room that we might want to grab on the way through sometime.
When we're done here. Yeah. Frank, storage room, you shout as you dash through the storage room to the manager's office, bursting through the little strings of beads, and the manager's office isn't much to look at. There's a single desk and a filing cabinet against one wall, and on the opposite wall you see the control panel that you're looking for, the manager's terminal, Solitaire's personal terminal. You rush over to it, flick open the panel, and extend the other end of your cyber deck cord, plugging it in. And we'll go to Charlie next.
Charlie is going to send Rusty in.
To assist?
To assist, yeah.
Yeah. Alright, go ahead and roll me a knowledge +2 roll for your mechanics ability.
Dirty 20, so 20.
Dirty 20, nice. Bark, 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 shouts Rusty as he dashes under the bar, following hot on Azure's heels. And Azure, just as you're about to plug the end of your cable into the jack in port, Rusty bursts into the room. He saddles up to the terminal, opens his mouth, and a little multi-tool extends, whirring into the access port before you have a chance to slide your connection in there. And Rusty neutralizes the physical defenses of the terminal. You see a surge of electricity rush down his access tool, and he opens his mouth, letting out a yelp as the electricity surges down his body. He takes a single point of damage as he absorbs the shock and then retracts his multi-tool, inviting you to proceed. Alright, PU.
I'd like to give him a little pat before I continue.
Little pat. Scratch him under the ears. Whimper. PU, you're up.
The physical defenses have been neutralized.
On the control panel, but the turret in the server room is still waiting for you, and PU, you hear the last thing you wanted to hear. The sound of something sliding away behind you as a section of the roof at the back of the bodega opens, and a second turret begins to whir, readying its assault.
Shit! Dive behind the bar. Go!
And P is going to dive behind the bar.
Dive behind the bar. Okay, no roll needed. You dive behind the bar. Just as the bullets begin to ring out, shattering the last intact bottle of real alcohol. Anything else you'd like to do, PU? You could get an attack off if you like.
I think he's going to put an arm over the bar, and he's going to shoot back at the turret. And fuck it, I bought a lot of ammo. Let's go full hog.
Auto fire. Go ahead. Make me a presence check.
That's a nat 20.
Nat 20, nice. So roll your damage and double it.
Thank you very much. That's 6 damage.
6 damage, nice. 3 of it is absorbed by the rusty metal plating. But 3
Second
damage
attack.
is 3 damage. Go ahead, roll again.
Second attack is a 12. You said presence, yes? Or
Yep,
agility, sorry.
Agility for an auto fire. 12 hits.
13, yeah. Okay, cool. 12 hits. Another d6. That's going to be 1 damage, so it's not going to take any damage, sadly.
Yeah, no damage, but you do get a third attack.
That's going to be a 19 total.
19 total. Yeah, that's a hit. Roll
Or
the damage.
2 damage.
2 damage. It absorbs 1, so it's taken 4 points of damage altogether.
How's it looking?
You've blasted a panel off the side, but it's still spraying the bodega with bullets. And Frank's in the firing line. Frank, what would you like to do?
Well, it seems that an awful lot of things want to shoot me.
Hit
Do
me
I
with
think-
your best shot.
Hey, that's already the song I've already put up there, right? That is what he is singing at the moment. I am wondering, is there a reason that he would not walk over and smack the turret with his cricket bat?
Yeah, we'll see if he can detach it from the roof. Sure.
That's basically, so yeah, he's just gonna hit it.
So as you walk slowly, determinedly towards it,
I'm gonna miss
roll.
with a 10.
a 10. You swing your cricket bat and realize that it's just slightly out of your reach. You misjudged. The roof is about 30 centimeters higher than you thought it were. The tip of your cricket bat scrapes the very edge of the turret's panel, and it retaliates. The barrel whirs as it unleashes its barrage. Go ahead, Frank. Make me an agility check.
You got this.
Ooh, 2. The little minigun whirs and sprays Frank full of bullets. He takes 4 points of damage, and the minigun continues firing its next auto fire, this time aiming at PU. Go ahead, PU. Roll me an agility. The DR will be 10 because you're behind cover.
Awesome, thank you. Oh my god, it's a 10.
It's a 10. Just enough. You duck just as the last few bullets in its clip rain into the metallic surface of the bar. There's a loud click as a little arm pops out of the side of the turret and gets to work replacing the bullet cartridge. It's the other turret's turn, and it doesn't have a line of fire on each of you, so instead, it goes into red alert. You hear something whirring from the server room, and then a boom, as a single grenade rolls across the floor of the cyber cafe towards you.
Fucking hell!
And boom!
I think they want to get rid of intruders.
PU, Frank, and Charlie each take 5 points of damage as the frag
Jesus!
grenade explodes. The good news, however, is that the turret in the server room has expended its munitions. Once it expels the grenade, it can no longer fire because the grenade is its backup weapon only.
I think Frank's dead.
How'd Frank...
Yep.
Yeah. So Frank, go ahead and roll a toughness check for me.
I don't know how to do that.
So
I'm
D20 plus add your toughness.
Do the folks behind the bar get
Dirty
any...
20.
Dirty 20. So Frank is blasted off his feet. He hits the ground and he falls unconscious. The blast knocking the chip in his brain loose. Frank, your vision whirs and shorts out, and you lose the next few seconds. The rest of you behind the bar, that would be Charlie and PU, that's going to be 5 points of damage, but you can soak it with your armor.
And let me roll a D2. Do we get any bonuses from being behind the bar?
Unfortunately not.
Or at the shop?
I don't think Charlie has armor, so Charlie just goes straight down 5.
Yeah.
How'd you go, PU, on that?
I got 4 damage, so I'm at 4 out of 7 HP.
Lovely. And then we go to Azure. There's one turret left, gearing up to fire on the Bodega. The one in the server room, according to the panel in front of you, is now deactivated. It's expelled its emergency backup weapon and needs to be taken offline to reload. The one in the Bodega area is gearing up to spray your friends full of lead.
I would definitely
Didn't
like to
it
stop
just
that one if I
get
can.
hit with a grenade?
Well, it's on the roof, so the grenade's deal damage to D3 opponents, and I rolled the max 3, so unfortunately the turret was just out of range. But Azure,
Yes, I would
once
like
you
to
plug the cord
disable
in,
that.
yeah, you plug the cord in, click, and the manager's office melts away around you. Bright white pillars of light emerge from the ground, encasing you in a cocoon of brilliant radiance, where a single node of data sits in the middle, spinning, whirring, changing its form as the ones and zeros dart around, coalescing upon each other, twisting around each other, borrowing each other's mass. There are 2 things here that you have access to, Azure. Within the data node, you can see the records of all of Solitaire's customers. That might be worth getting as pay dirt for later, but what you're here for is the security control. So I'll ask you a question. Are you content to just do the security control, or do you want to make a move at getting Solitaire's pay data as well?
You know what the answer is.
Oh, yeah, obviously, but can I do one and then the other?
Well,
Like, I'll want to do one. I'll want to get both. With prioritizing the security.
yeah, the security. You'll go security first and then the pay data. Alright.
Yeah.
Because as you approach the data node, loud klaxons ring out around you. The walls begin to turn bright red, angry faces fading in on their surfaces. thumbs down emojis slowly shifting into focus out of thin air, and the intrusion countermeasures are activating. Go ahead, make me a knowledge technology roll.
Right.
I believe.
Don't believe in me. I rolled a 3. Add 3 is 6. Anyone got any glitches?
You can
How
have
many-
my last pitch.
You get Charlie's last glitch. Go ahead.
All right.
You're the world's most elite hackers, and the only time you've hacked, you've needed a glitch both times.
No, I hate this. I just rolled a 4.
4.
Wait,
7 to turn that into a 7. So
Turn that into a 7. All right.
One better than I am the world's best hacker.
Here's what happens. You glide towards the data
This is why
node
I'm in debt.
and see a cloud of zeros and ones that have roughly formed into the shape of a turret. You recognize this as the security control nexus. You reach out, swipe your hand through the air, and the glyphs of all your various apps and functions light up before you. Gritting your teeth, you select one, then another, execute them, and the turret in front of you explodes into particles of data, stray bits disintegrating into thin air. In meat space, the turret, aiming down at Frank's unconscious body, whirs, and then stops. The little arm lets go of the magazine access port, and the turret hangs limp. Deactivated. But Adja, if there's one flaw you have, it's that you're overconfident, you never know to quit when you're ahead. Seeing that pay dirt, seeing that list of Solitaire's customers, everyone who's ever bought anything from him, anyone who's ever accessed any of the cyber cafe's nodes, and just how valuable that would be for a hacker like you, how many creds that would fetch among the hacker collectives. You're gonna make a break for it. The next thing you know, the bright white light around you flashes with brilliant radiance, getting darker and darker, turning from white to orange to red. Your eyes begin to burn. Electricity surges through your brains, and you find yourself expelled into meat space, the cord yanked out of the jack slot on the terminal, screaming loudly, clutching your hands to your ears as blood gushes out of your nose, out of your earlobes, and you take 4 points of damage being brain blasted from the ice.
That's right, that's better than 6.
How you doing there, Azure?
The good
Have 6
news...
max.
Good news is that the security is disabled, combat is over, and anyone who was hurt recovers D4 HP.
Just see a bit of blood oozing underneath the mask.
The LED giving a
Yeah.
semicolon left bracket, sad face. Frank, your
Yeah,
vision
one breath.
reboots. Your vision reboots. The BIOS
Whilst
data
I'm
flies
laying
past
there-
the screen. Yep.
I pop the top on my can and do a solo band drink.
Yeah. You may heal 1d6 HP. And PU, go ahead, roll a d6 to see if you're Yep, 4 for ammo, 1 for health. Lovely.
Yeah.
The BIOS
Okay.
information floods past your vision, Frank, lingering for a moment on the logo of your accursed debtors, the Alienson Corporation. Alienson Co. Mining Model 2001. Copyright, all rights reserved. Then you blink, and all appears to be fine once again. You lost a few seconds, but you're back.
Oh, Frank, you had me worried there.
Everything all right out there?
Not particularly. Frank, catch.
I'm gonna throw him another can of gamer juice.
Frank catches it.
P is gonna slide across the bar, and he's gonna walk up towards the server room. He's gonna bat at the disabled turret above him. Let's try to push it out the way, and he's gonna look over the servers.
The servers miraculously have been spared any significant damage. There's a couple bullet holes in the server casing, but the mainframe itself appears to be humming away. And there, right there, PU, with your knowledge of thievery, you see it. A safe, embedded into the tiles at your feet, just under the mainframe. All you need to do is shove the hulking machinery out of the way to gain access to it.
Frank, you alright to lift something?
Well, I reckon so.
Can you move the server for us?
I pick PU up.
No, not me, you fucking... the server!
You now have
I
irrevocably
don't think
stained
that's
hands.
their job, but, you know, which one do you mean? I mean, they have got names, you know.
But this... Just lift the tech, Frank. I don't have time for this.
Oh, you mean that? Okay. Ripped. Yeah, just lift it and heft it into the air, whatever it is.
You raise the mainframe off the ground, and PU darts underneath towards the floor safe. Frank, you're holding this.
You want me to put this into Sudsy Malone?
Would there be any advantage to taking the server with us?
If you could fit it in the taxi, which would be nigh impossible, you
Could
might
we
be
fit
able to
it
sell it.
On
But
the taxi?
Charlie calls out, "Don't forget the storage room."
Right, yeah. We have to take all the shit from there. Alright.
I
Just
could put
drop it in
my
the middle,
dumpster.
Frank.
You want me to put it in the dumpster? And we'll take the dumpster along with us?
Eh,
if
fuck
you
it,
wanna-
might as well.
If you want to hold on to it till you get outside to put it in the dumpster, sure, go ahead, Frank. That mainframe is going to take up your entire inventory because it's twice your size.
Oh, I was
recommend
just
the
going
other
to
things
carry it
small.
out to the dumpster and put it in.
Don't walk out the door yet.
Well, I think he's going to use the hole that he made.
Yeah.
Oh, true. You did make a hole.
Yeah. So Frank, with the mainframe held over his head like Link proffering a treasure he's just found in Legend of Zelda, carries the mainframe across the room. He says, "I'll be back in a moment," and steps out through the hole. Meanwhile, PU, the security's dealt with. It's no trouble at all for you to slide your tools into the lock on this safe until you hear that satisfying click. You slide the safe open and inside find, presumably, what you're looking for. A single computer chip. There's no label or any identifying marks on it at all, but it looks quite similar to the app cartridges that you've seen Azure slot into a cyber deck.
Yeah, this is what this is all about? Hey, Chromie! This is for you.
He hands it out to you, Azure. You take one look at it and immediately recognize it as an app cartridge, but without a label, there's no telling what's on it without inserting it into your cyber deck.
What could go wrong?
You sure you want to do that?
I'm getting some very definite signals from PU. But what does PU know?
No, this isn't
you
PU. Tristan. This is Tristan right now.
I will point out,
We might
Azure.
leave it for now. We got time. We got
Yeah.
time for that.
I will
can-
point out
we
a-
carry that.
I will point out, Azure, that you're being paid to retrieve this. Your client didn't say anything about whether you're allowed to look at its contents, so it's
Yeah.
entirely up to you. You
I will
shrug.
leave it for now.
You
but
shrug.
I might have a look on the car back.
Drop it into your bag, just in time for Frank to emerge. Frank, are you going to head towards the storage room where Charlie is pointing?
Do you see where I've drawn a whole lot of boxes and a couple of turrets
Yep.
and a dead dog and a server and all that? At some point, you're gonna tell me that somebody's gonna have stopped Frank, but he's emptying the cyber cafe out on the street,
Everything.
and it's all gonna go into the dumpster.
PU's having a hell of a time because as Frank's picking up stuff, like picking up benches and bar stools, PU's picking the gum that's like secured onto the bottom of them and popping them into his mouth.
So a few minutes
Hopefully
later,
somebody will point out, don't waste time with furniture. Only things that have blinking lights.
Well, like specifically point in the storage room the bits
Yeah.
that are worth something.
Charlie calls out the things, the things, the blinking things, Frank.
Well, he's gonna pick up one of you guys because you're the ones that have eyes.
The boxes, Frank. No. Charlie
Oh.
ducks under the bar.
Okay.
Rusty letting out a growl.
Come on, Frank. We don't know if that alarm's set off for the cops or what. Go help us, Jor.
So, I'm going to ask Frank to roll me an agility check to see just how much of the valuable stuff he manages to get out before 11 plus 1? 12.
Yeah.
Alright. Frank and Azure, between them, bundle 10 units of jailbroken tech out of the room. 5 each. Frank hauls it out of the room, throws it on the pile in the dumpster. In addition to the mainframe, the broken walker drone, the vending machine, a couple chairs, a crate full of real alcohol taken from the bar. And it looks like your job is done. In
Frank
the
is gonna-
distance... Yep,
Frank
go
is-
ahead.
is going to suggest that everything goes in the car, right? And those of us that can't fit in the car, we'll just walk. Because it's only going to be like half a block before we're just lost in a crowd. Frank's not thinking about the fact that he'll be carrying a goddamn mainframe and is going to stick out like a sore thumb. He's not thinking that way.
Yeah. Does anyone point out the obvious flaw in this plan?
Does the taxi have a trailer hitch?
It has roof racks. Let's say it has roof racks. You've
How's
had them
the
installed
suspension?
when you wrenched the taxi sign off. You had some roof racks put in because you used to make good use of those back when you ran with your crew. You could carry a couple ATMs on those things. The suspension, I'd say 50-50 chance of it giving out. Up to you if you're willing to try, PU.
I don't want to risk Axie, I'm not gonna lie, I love this car.
Frank, I don't think it's such a great idea if you walk it. Let's pick and choose. We got
That's
like,
all right. I'll just walk it out of this neighborhood. I'll be fine.
fuck.
People might object.
Especially as you're walking all the way from Barnyard Fields up to the ports, up to Tech Noir. Frank could be walking for hours.
That does
Frank.
not bother him.
That does not bother him at all.
Frank, maybe pull out a few server trays and we take those. Leave the thing, get in the car, let's go. We've got like 60 seconds tops until cops are here.
Yeah. As PU says that, in the distance you hear sirens.
I can help identify which server trays would be most useful.
You can. Go ahead, make a knowledge technology check.
Higher than a 2, please. Oh, that's higher than a 2. 16.
Nice.
You point at various racks and
Really
trays on the
unimportant.
mainframe and say, Frank, that one, that one, that one.
I
Is
pull them out
is
for
the
him so that he
robot
doesn't
dog-
just grab them.
Is the robot dog in the car?
I'd say it's lying in the dumpster with all the other stuff you've purloined, and you'll be able to throw it in the boot of the car soon enough.
PU slams on the back of the car, the boot throws open.
Frank, we gotta hurry. I'm starting the car. If you're in it or not, I'm going.
The sirens are growing louder. Woo!
Pew throws himself through the open
I push
driver's
the
side window.
dumpster. I push the dumpster out of the way into an undescript area in amongst some other dumpsters, and I get in the car.
Leaving the stuff in. You've piled as much as you could from the dumpster into the boot of the car, and so the taxi weighed down by an entire storage room full of jailbroken tech, a broken walker drone, and at least 3 racks of server trays, RAM sticks, and various mainframe components. The tires squeal on the asphalt, and the taxi screams off into the haze of neon, desperation, and sweat that is the slums, just as the United Citadel Security's reinforced SWAT truck rounds the corner and begins to make its way towards the Bodega to investigate the disturbance.
Well, at the very least, we won't spill the blood of the scorpions, but God knows the cops will.
Yeah. If you lingered just a moment longer, you'd have heard gunshots ringing out from that courtyard, from that alleyway. The scorpions will probably think someone set them up. They'll probably think that their enemy, Ermac Ransom, who gave you this job, was the one behind it. But that's a future you problem.
We were never there. They never saw us. They don't know it's us. So we're fine. To be fair, PU's probably left a few grease puddles along the way.
About 40 minutes later, you've left the slums behind, once more surrounded by the degradation and excess of the docks. Tech Noir is unashamedly part of this. It was once a warehouse. It's been clumsily repurposed into a nightclub, and by clumsily repurposed, I mean all they've done is take the corporate shipping billboards down, replace them with neon signs proclaiming that you can find music, drugs, and girls here, and have lined the facade at the front with a long chain link fence spooled with barbed wire to make sure the patrons actually line up orderly, rather than just charging the doors and filling the establishment.
Pulling up to the front and squealing the tires as he sort of parks into a 60-point parallel parking. PU will tap through a message to Ermac on his ancient RCD. We're here. Got the chip. Come outside. Or inside, question mark.
Seconds later, he responds, waiting inside, too conspicuous outside to make the handover. Should be safe, but be careful. Never know who's watching.
See you soon, Private PP.
Did I get a chance on the way over to have a look over it?
You did. You slotted it into your cyber deck as the Axie screamed through the streets, and it does indeed contain an app that you've not seen before. Until you've actually had the time in your own personal downtime to examine this app and see exactly what it does. For now, it's a surprise app. The rest of the cartridge seems to contain a veritable cornucopia of information on members of the Scorpions. Their names, ranks, hideouts, possible schemes and sidelines and side hustles they've been involved in. Ample intelligence for Ermac's war against them. The only question I have to ask is, would you like to try and copy that surprise app?
Sure.
If you
If
leave...
it's non-traceable.
It's going to be difficult to make it untraceable. Otherwise, you could try a quick and dirty job and risk risk the client realizing that you've snooped on the goods.
Before we get into this, does anyone have any glitches remaining?
I do not.
Charlie's out.
Oh my god. It's Azure, so I know what's gonna happen. But I'm not gonna like it.
You're not gonna like it. I'm gonna try and do it as cleanly as possible.
Go ahead. Knowledge. Add +2 for your technology. We're looking to beat DR14 on this one.
You've got this.
Fine.
I believe in you.
I got this
For real this
easy.
time.
It was a 22.
Yeah.
Got a 19.
You don't know what the app is, not yet, but you'll have plenty of time to check it
Best
later at your own leisure. You download all of the packets from the cartridge into your cyber deck and then wrench the cartridge out. A big, broad grin on your real-life face and XD on your LED as you lean back into the filth-encrusted seat and relax.
And at this point, everybody notices they can't hear Frank singing. Because he has quietly gotten out of the car and he is walking back to get his dumpster.
Oh my god.
He got out while the car was moving?
We stopped at a light or we parked.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think we were actually parked outside what's his face's place.
You're
If they
parked
look,
outside
they can see him 100 yards
not
away
the note,
walking.
sorry.
Yeah, you look over, and in the rearview mirror, you can see the big hulking form of Frank interspersed in the crowds, and it is very obvious where he's going and what he's doing.
I'm going to be pulling shrapnel out of me for the next 2 days. I cannot be fucked with him right now.
And so you
Right,
continue
I'll hold
on.
on to his share.
And so you continue on to your destination. You line up for a few minutes outside of Tech Noir, and eventually you get to the Go ahead, PU.
I know that I know these guys. It's easy. I promise you. Check it.
You get to the bouncer, and he takes one look at you, seems to realize who he's dealing with, and declines to ask if you've got anything you'd like to declare. Instead, he wrinkles his nose, clasps his thumb and forefinger over his nostrils, and waves you into the club itself. You step inside into the cacophony of noise, colour, scents and sights, all immediately overwhelming. And you spy Ermac peering at you from a private booth packed away in one of the dimly lit corners at the back of the club, far away from the congealed mass of bodies, flesh and chrome that pulsates on the dance floor, in tune to the new bass. In the neon haze that illuminates the building, Ermac's silver hair is painted a deep purple. As you approach, he holds out a hand. Alright, Azure, Charlie. He gestures towards the seat in the booth opposite him. PU, don't you take another step further. And wasn't there another one of you biggish guy? Cobra hat, baseball bat, big.
Yeah, Frank. He's going for a walk.
A walk.
Yeah, not like a long walk of a short period. He's going for a walk.
A walk.
Yeah. What the fuck you want me to say? He's going for a walk.
He shrugs. Well, I guess the only thing I should care about is, have you got the goods?
Azure?
And over the thing. What is it?
Ermac takes the cartridge out of your hand, and with his other arm, he rifles around in the folds of his duster. Eventually, he produces a handheld media player. Its screen painting his face in a pink haze from what you spy as a wallpaper of a giant pink bunny rabbit holding a machine gun in one hand and a board with a nail in it in the other. He slides the cartridge into the underside of the panel, swipes his hand across the screen and frowns. You were discreet, right? You didn't let anyone follow you? Didn't get spied by the scorpions?
The scorpions didn't even fucking know we were there. Right up until the rest of the tech. The Poe showed up and they blasted them away, so it cleaned up the problem. They never even knew it was us.
How about Solitaire's traps? I know he's a paranoid guy. I had a feeling he'd have a few set up in his place.
Psh, traps? No, traps? Were there traps? I didn't see any traps.
I didn't see any traps.
Okay, and you didn't peek and look into as to the contents of the cartridge.
Do I look like I know how to check a cartridge? What the fuck are you talking about?
Right. Well, it says there's no sign of intrusion, so I guess use the real deal, huh? He says. He slides. Professional, aye. He slides the tunnel back into his duster. Well, the job's done. You got it back to me. Don't look like you were followed or nothing. Scorpions didn't know you were there. And this is what I need. See, everything I got here on this cartridge, it's all the info I need. Their names, where I can find them, the pies they got all their grubby little hands in. And so now I can make sure that Solitaire, whatever happened to him, didn't happen in vain. I can start to exact my vengeance upon the scorpions.
That is heartwarming, I gotta say. It's beautiful. But let's talk creds.
Of course. He reaches up, presses a thumb into the RED port underneath his temple, and little numbers show up on your screen. And this happens for you too, Frank, even though you're about 3 blocks away at this point, just calmly making your way through the crowds. A number 500 appears in the corner of your heads-up display. It ticks down tick, 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 to 0 as it's deposited into your accounts to handle your debt. And then another 100 plus 50 for getting in and out without causing trouble with the scorpions trickles in as well.
Very nice.
Patton reached out to me, said he'd throw in 50 creds if you managed to get in and out without letting the scorpions know you was there. And, he lowers his voice as he peers over your shoulder, points into the crowd. You look over your shoulders, and there, across the pulsating dance floor, somewhere in the haze of smoke, neon light, bobbing their heads to the new base, you see 3 scorpions. Their telltale gang symbols painted vibrant purple in the neon, seated around a table. Those 3 over there, OGs. They're the ones who did in Solitaire. Thought I'd sit here, keep an eye on them. And one of them's name carries some weight. Now, if you'd cause trouble with the scorpions tonight, that guy over there, the one with the mustache, the one with the long beard, the one with the jacket with armor plating around the shoulder pads, well, he'd have barked an order to his 2 little lapdogs there, and they'd have stepped out into the night, climbed in their gang car outside, the very same one that chased you last night, and they'd be waiting for you, waiting to ambush you on the way back, so that little flying drone that you didn't properly take care of could fill you with lead. But as you can see,
I wouldn't say
still sitting there.
Didn't properly take care of. I would say use their ammo efficiently. There's a good difference.
It's all academia, they say, as they say at this point. They're all sitting there having their drinks, watching the girls dance as if nothing ever happened, and here you are giving me a cartridge containing all their dirty secrets. Ermac smiles.
Doesn't that make it all the sweeter when you know you're gonna see them eating concrete in a little bit?
He nods, and as he nods, smiling broadly, he reaches into the folds of his duster once again, pulls out a vial of that same pink powder that you saw him snort when you first met him the night before, uncorks it, lays a row out on the back of his arm, and partakes. His eyes glaze over as he takes a deep breath. Well, we're not out of the woods yet. Shit's about to go down in the near future. See, what you got for me tonight, that's step 1 of the process. And it's like they say in rehab, it's a 12-step process. Understand? So, I've already spoken to Patton, and he's happy for you guys to continue working for me. I'll pay you what you earn, what you deserve, and after your performance tonight, I'm confident that you're exactly what I need. A few good men, as Patton said. You're exactly what I need to get a few more steps down this process and maybe, just maybe, get the Scorpions by the balls before they get me by mine. So, question for you is, you're happy to work for me?
As long as you're paying.
Patent standard rates already negotiated. Barring any additional bonuses and negotiations, of course. Now, I understand Patton ain't just got the one client, so it's, likely that I ain't gonna be the only one making use of your services, but, well, this'll get your name out there, and once people hear you're working for me, then they might be willing to throw you some work as well. Either way, Patton's probably gonna have that implant of his ringing non-stop asking about you pretty soon.
Yeah, didn't you say you work with the fucking hillbillies up that way?
Yeah, private detective. I work...
No, you push some names around there. Could get us some good work.
Sure. So long as you agree that any future work you undertake for any other clients ain't gonna get in the way of your work for me, we can help each other out.
I mean, look at Azure. She's decked out to the chrome teeth. And me. I'm professional standard. You've seen it first. And I mean, gosh, Charlie over here. Charlie's got it all figured. I mean, you don't want to see it. It's Charlie's bad side when the dog goes crazy. I mean, we'll do it proper. You know that.
I'll hold up Rusty and go look into his eyes.
Yeah, I know better than to do that, says Ermac, covering his eyes as Charlie opens his mouth, revealing his razor-sharp teeth. Bark, bark, pant, pant.
Whimper.
I think we can trust each other. So, what do you drink? What's your poison? He says. I like the Neo whiskey with a shot of the Cyber rum.
Cyber rum's good.
I was always fond of concrete mixers. Those are good fun.
Yeah, I don't know if they sell that one here. Let's go with a double Neo whiskey on the Cyber rocks for you, he says, as he holds a hand up in the air, waves over a roving bartender, and nods. My usual. For them as well. The bartender nods, disappears into the haze. So, says Ermac, smiling. A toast, then, to the start of a lovely fruitful business relationship. He takes his glass off the tray proffered by the waiter, holds it up in the air.
Think
He'll grab the glass. He's already left like 6 fingerprints on the side of this like pristine glass, and he holds it up. Cheers.
I pull out a reusable straw I have for this, so I don't have to take my mask off.
Slide it under the mask, and Charlie just sort of proffers the glass, peers down at it in disdain, and slides it under the table for Rusty.
I have some oil.
Oil. Yeah, we might have to, I'll remember that one for next time, he says. So, me and you, us against the scorpions. He reaches into the folds of his duster and slides out a grubby, square piece of paper. An old Polaroid photo, analog. Looks like he's reached into a time portal, pulled it out from the 20th century. He slides it onto the table, and there you see a picture of a young girl, perhaps no older than 15, 16, wearing a long flowing summer dress, vibrant red hair, smiling from ear to ear, her blue eyes glimmering in the sunlight. This girl, the name was Emily McCauley, daughter of a bigwig from the hills. Some guy works corporate legal stuff for one of the big security contractors. She had a run-in with the Scorpions. Was never seen again. No, I don't like people who pick on children. So I made it my personal mission. I've been working this case 2 years now, and I ain't gonna stop at nothing till I found who's put Emily in the ground and made them pay. Can you jive with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a gross fuck, but I don't even... No. Let's kill these fuckers.
Let's kill these fuckers. You said it here. Right. Well, you guys enjoy the music, enjoy your drinks. I got some planning to do. Now that I got this info, I got this intelligence, I can start to think how to make the first move. And as long as I got my pink glass ready to give me the clarity, ready to tell me what waits around the corner, I think we'll do alright. Ermac smiles as he stands up, and he winks as he pulls his fedora hat tightly over his silver hair.
You be
Vibrant
safe,
pink eyes glimmering in the light. You'll be safe too, he says. Touches a finger to his right eye, then to you. You'll watch yourselves. And we'll end the session there, with your first job a success.
Fantastic. Well done, guys.
Yeah.
It's looking a little bit dicey at the beginning there, I won't lie.
Fine. Fine.
You avoided an ambush on the way back, purely because those scorpions didn't live long enough to call their handlers and say someone had rolled up on them. If you'd fought them, if they'd spotted you, or if they had somehow not been completely eviscerated by the United
We're right
Citadel
back, by the way.
security, then, well, on your way back to Tech Noir, you'd have found yourselves in another car chase, another high-speed battle on the highway. Things were looking dicey, but you stayed professional, adapted, and pulled through. The fact that you've helped Ermac means you've got a reputation. His name carries weight amongst his clients. Wigs in the hills, and when someone needs someone to do their dirty work, well, now they'll know who to turn to. Needless to say, Patton's gonna be fielding a lot more calls about you, requesting your services from now on. Remember, How this works is the fixer gives you the jobs. The clients go through him, and then he passes them on to you. It's because of Patton you got your big break, so make sure you keep him in the loop. And your career as mercenaries, as cyberpunks, fighting with every ounce of willpower, determination, and grit you have to make something of yourselves in this shithole, has begun. You all level up to level 2.
How does leveling up work?
I'll explain that in a moment. But as you begin your careers in earnest at level 2, something else happens. From now on, I'll start every session rolling to see if any of your debt collectors show up. Any of you who still owe any debt at all, and that's all of you. I'll roll a d20, add your level, and if it ever gets higher than 15, well, someone's gonna show up to ruin the show. The more you level up, the more often the debt collections will be triggered, because as you level up, your reputation will grow. It'll be much easier for people to get a hold of you, to find out where to find you. And as your names start to carry more weight, those who you owe money to are going to grow less and less patient. Thanks for playing, punks. My money's still on you being ground into dust within the next couple of sessions, but tonight, you did well. Congrats.
Only a matter of time.
Well done, folks.